Okay, there, viewer, thanks for joining us on the program, The Arena, where we meet to take on burning topical issues and matters facing us as a people in the society. My name is Chris Anibuogu. Welcome you on board today. It is October 20th. And if you've been following the trend of events, in the Nigerian landscape, you'll understand that um, the issues surrounding the arrest and continued incarceration of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has actually been raising different concerns from different quarters. And recently, we have the activist, Omolore, coming out to say, just Showore Omolore coming out to say that he's actually going to carry out a protest support for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Today being October 20th, and it is actually today. So that's the issue we want to be looking at, issues and matters, growing concerns about the protests. So you're welcome on board, and to help us do justice to this matter is a lawyer based here in Enugu, a human rights activist, as well as a farmer, also barrister Nnamdi Fokanse. It's a pleasure having you.
Chris, thank you for having me this afternoon.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so today's October 20th, and a lot may not be happening here in Enugu today with regard to the proposed protest. But then signs in the streets indicate that people seem to, be recognizing today, observing the day, not much movement across the streets in Enugu. But then the protest is not here in Enugu, it's in Abuja. On which side of the fence are you seated? Are you for or are you against the protest? Let's begin with you on that note.
Well, in my intro, you said human rights activist.
That's right.
Be an activist, definitely I should be for the protest.
Okay.
I shouldn't be against it because the protest is a protest against dehumanizing the rights of an individual, the rights of a people. So I am in support of the protest. Yes, and more therein is fact that the protest is proposed to be peaceful. But like the Nigerian factor in everything we do, the law enforcement agents, as early as 8 o'clock this morning, when they were just little cluster of people, have started shooting and throwing tear gas. So you tend to wonder what actually has come over our body politics. So I am for the protest, and I've ever advocated that Nnamdi Kanu's case is a travesty. And even if you know somebody who said you want like Buhari, who took it like a personal project, to deal with Nnamdi Kanu, the court from the Federal High Court discharged the man, just like the appeal court also did. And they went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, well, the rendition from Kenya to Nigeria was illegal. And being illegal, ordinarily it should have not been, because there is procedure for extraditing anybody who you want and who you want to undergo trial in any country that is signatory to the International Charter of Human and People's Rights. But they didn't follow it. But nonetheless, that it could not stop the trial, that they should remit the thing back to the High Court, Federal High Court, for fresh trial. What fresh trial are you remitting to the Federal High Court? The one that have been discharged, and now the State Security Service is now crafted another charge. So it is a rigmarole of trial from Justice Binta Inyako to now Omotosho. So you find out that while this thing was going on, the federal government also shot themselves on the leg by now inviting bandits who have been terrorizing the entire northern part of Nigeria, who are trying to establish it. But in Zamfara, if Zamfara is about 17 local governments, 10 of the 17 local governments are now like ungoverned spaces, where terrorists hold the sway. The same thing to Borno. The same thing, a lot of local governments in the north are government spaces. Because the federal government of Nigeria no more collect taxes from there, no more administer anything there. It is now under the control of Boko Haram. Now, they call these bandits for a one-on-one meeting. But now the kind of who has been there just talking and telling people that they need a referendum, that this and this and this are the way these people are being marginalized, is the one they have now arrested. So it angered every Nigerian. That is why you can see the protest is being spearheaded by a Yoruba man.
All right. Also, Barrister Nnamdi can see. Thank you very much for that, background introduction and explanation about today's peaceful protest. Before we come to the issues you have actually pointed out as developing stories from the main matter, I just want us to play around these other issues. Could you help the viewer understand more the grounds of charges? What actually is the federal government holding Nnamdi Kanu for?
Well, you see, initially, there are three classifications of offenses: felony, misdemeanor, and simple offense. Now, they initially charged him for terrorism under the Terrorism Act, which has also been abrogated. So there is no even law. The law that they just like trying somebody on a repeat law. So I wonder the kind of evidence that they will muster before the court. On that terrorism charge, that was also what collapsed at the first time when the man was. And they remember, okay, I forgot to tell you, the Supreme Court even said that the charge of jumping bail, which they also alleged against Nnamdi Kanu, was also not proper because the young man was trying to save his life. There are evidence that Nigerian military invaded his home, killed some of his supporters, and he escaped for his own life. So it couldn't have been jumping bail because if he was there, he could have been killed. So do you say he jumped bail on that second? Under that second, the Supreme Court said no, he didn't jump bail. He was actually trying to save his life. So on this pedestrian, what are they actually trying him for again? So the terrorism charge brought against him. That's why I say it is a circus show, people running a circle. And that is why from 2021, when they renditioned him illegally from Kenya to here, they could not make a headway. The terrorism charge against him, he could not even stand because the only man who was brought in without being, without interfering with a trial already going on in court, you can also analyze the steps taken so far. The man who the DSS who did and to come and give evidence, you can go and go through the evidence he gave. But virtually the man said nothing because the truth of the matter is that, Chris, you don't carry out terrorism. As when you say somebody is charging you for terrorism, and they say you want to overthrow the government of Itamba in Enugu State. And how did you intend to overthrow the government of Itamba? Maybe you are in this your studio, criticizing some of the things the man is not doing right. But then I'm bringing it before a court and say it's terrorism. No. Terrorism, if you go to the Terrorism Act, you see the definition of terrorism. You must have to carry physical and noticeable arms against the institutions of state with a view to changing the government. So you ask the question, did anybody go close to any of the government houses in Nigeria to stage the governor using firearms? None. Did anybody carry any cutlass to go ahead and cut the president and ensure that he leaves office? None. So where lies the Terrorism Act, the charge? Did anybody even terrorize individuals with a view to ensuring that those individuals carry out a given act like it's being carried out in the north? So when you talk about terrorism and felonious offense of trying to overthrow the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you have to state how it happened. I remember also that the Federal High Court, I'm not talking of state, Federal High Court in Omugwo has also discharged and acquitted them kind of all these charges and even awarded the cost against the federal government, which they ignored. So you seem to look at the whole scenario. You find out that this is persecution, not prosecution.
Persecution, not prosecution.
No, they are not prosecuting him, they are persecuting him. because the longest trial, 2001, 2002, 2021, 22, 23, 24, 25, 5 good years. You have not actually laid any evidence. Now, the last time the matter came up, because I talk on the one the court has, because court concludes in bits.
That's right.
Somebody already said, my client is sick, and that they say health challenge. But this is more of what fueled even this protest. That the health challenge is one that cannot be treated at DSS facility. The other one said, no, he's not sick. Remember, sickness is an action in persona. It's for you. You can't be sick and I'll take Panadol for you. So it is you who is sick that will take Panadol.
Of course.
And if you complain you are sick. Somebody says he's sick, another person says he's not sick. The judge doesn't even need to say whether it is true or not. The only thing the judge can say is that let him get treated as far as the judge is concerned. But the judge now said, let me set up the Nigerian Medical Association. Let them go and know whether the man is actually sick or not. That one is not done in law. But nonetheless, they have done it already. They have been the judge. Now, having gone there, the Nigerian Medical Association, so to say, even though they're now behind that, denying the report, they said a report was written. And that report written was now given to the prosecution, the person who is trying you, to tender in court. It is wrong. If a judge orders applicants to go and settle a matter out of court, and
you report back to the judge.
Exactly. So it is me who will go into the witness box and tell you, my lord, who have settled the matter and have written a report. Can I tender the report? So go ahead and tender the report. I will serve other parties and tender the report based on the assignment the judge gave me. But it's not the prosecution that tendered the document, which was also wrong. And the Nigerian Medical Association, they are denying it. They are not even the ones who issued the medical report. And the judge has concluded based on that the man can stand to tire that this health challenge is not life-threatening.
That's the report we saw within the media space.
Exactly. It is in his report. It is in his, what do you call it? The media space doesn't write in vacuum. It is in the order of the court that it is not life-threatening. So the sickness of a person has to be life-threatening before you allow him to go and take treatment. So if somebody says, I'm getting some signs of debilitating cancer in me, can I go and take chemotherapy? Say no, until it gets to the last stage of cancer, when maybe your life will be hanging on the balance before we tell you to go and get treatment. These days, I have a reason why some people say the man is being persecuted because the charges against him cannot stand anywhere. You don't place something on top of nothing and tell it to stand, that thing will collapse. You don't benefit from your illegal act. You can't coerce somebody. You know, Buhari has a mechanical style of going about justice. Remember in 1983, he created Omar Odiko from London, put him in a crate, and were trying to fly the man back to Nigeria. For what? Because it was said that Omar Odiko was told to procure rice that will be shared to citizens, a kind of palliative. And he didn't procure the right rice. Maybe they said he procured the rice used in feeding fish. This is neither here nor there. When the man struck, Omar Odiko fled to London. Rather than file with international police, Interpol, to bring Omar Odiko back to Nigeria, he went, get to his apartment, drugged him, put him in a crate, carried him to the airport. But it was the ego eye of the security agencies in London. They say they want to see it. They say it's a diplomatic box. So they're not going to where? Say Nigeria want to see it. So they opened it, but lo and behold, it was Omar Odiko that was inside. That was how Omar Odiko was rescued. Now, he applied the same thing in Nnamdi. Nnamdi just came to Kenya on a visit, using some Nigerian, I call them saboteurs, and some also from some of his Igbo brothers, including some officers of Kenyan security agencies. They got Nnamdi arrested, detained him in a dungeon, tortured him, blindfolded him, and took a private jet and flew him back to Nigeria. Now, Kenya has given judgment in their own.
We understand the position the Kenyan court has taken on the matter.
The Kenyan has taken a position, said what did happen to the man was illegal and awarded cost. And that held every Kenyan security agency that was involved seriously accountable. Now, Nigeria is still trying the same person.
Okay, now, let's look at some of the issues. The terrorism charge against Nnamdi Kanu. We understand the federal government is accusing him of having incited people to have taken into arms, attacking police stations, government, institutions, and the rest of them. We understand here in the southeast, sometime in the past, we saw where police stations they came under attack. Even though the IPOB, I doubt if there was any point in time when the IPOB came to, take responsibility of such attacks on government institutions such as the police stations and the rest of them. But then it was always alleged that it was activities of the IPOB, which Nnamdi Kanu was superintendent, or rather, which he superintends over. Could we look at such acts as terrorism acts?
Well, you see, Chris, the problem about crafting charge, you can craft any charge you like. It is proof of that charge that is the problem. You can craft any charge you like, but let us, like I said, without being interfering, without interfering directly with the matter going on in court, according to them.
So that we don't become prejudicial.
Yes, without being interfering to the issue at stake. He who asserts has to prove. That is the Evidence Act. If you say vacancy is a criminal, you come and prove how criminal I am. If you don't prove it, I'll be left off the hook. So the underlying factor in the terrorism charge is that you cannot allude, IPOB, without being, I'm not a lawyer to IPOB, but without being immodest, you can know that IPOB, through their spokesman, is more powerful. Whichever one they do, they always claim it. They don't deny whatever they do. If they say they are going to do this, they will go say they are doing it, and they will do it. Anyone that they don't do, they don't claim it. So if some criminal elements go about doing one or two things out of anger, you allude it to IPOB. Now, IPOB is an organization for whom the Southeast governors strove their best, but they were the ones who labeled it terrorist organization. And it is only in Nigeria that IPOB is labeled terrorist organization. Only in Nigeria. No other country in the world. If you have any increase, you can go and Google it. No other country in the world has ever labeled IPOB terrorists. But now, the Fulani herdsmen that have been terrorizing the entire North, which has been labeled terrorist organization by virtually every civilized country of the world, Nigeria refused to label them terrorist organization. I don't blame Nigeria because it is the Southeast governors, David Umahi, them, who was the Buruburu, who just name those ones then in power when this incident was happening. They are the ones who moved for the labeling of IPOB as a terrorist organization. And the court merely considered, even via what we call originating summon that is done on affidavit evidence without giving the other people power to defend or challenge what they are saying, even though they are actually challenging the labeling in court, which matter they have just stood down and sort of forgotten. But that is by the way. So the issue is that if you now see, when I say federal government shot themselves in the leg, you were here alive in Nigeria when the bandits came for a peace meeting. I think it's in Zamfara State. Or Zamfara, I think Zamfara.
Zamfara, even Kaduna recently. Because we heard from Malam El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, accusing the government of bargaining
those
with...
people came in full military regalia, bandits, carrying sophisticated AK-47 assault rifles, multi-purpose machine gun, and rocket launchers to a peace meeting to be brokered between terrorists, bandits, and government.
The government actually denied their involvement. They said it's the community leaders. I don't know.
So, Chris, can you arrange your community leaders in your village now? Tell them that they want to bring out unknown gunmen to come and negotiate in your village square. And the unknown gunmen comes there in military camouflage with guns. And then the Commissioner of Police in Enugu State and the GOC division will be looking at you. You know it's not possible. They will storm that very venue and arrest everybody. If you want to try, Just go and wear a military beret. Don't even wear any other. Just wear military camouflage. Ride on the highway of Bisala Road. Just let an army officer sight you. He will stop you and tell you to come down. Why are you wearing this beret? Are you a soldier? Before you know, they are rolling you on the ground. But you must have to understand that, you see, people look at endpoints without looking at how it started. Because there is an anybody saying that if you don't know where they started beating you, will not know where you dried their body.
That's right.
When this IPOP started with, I think it was Masop to Wazuke. From Wazuke's Masop to IPOP. What the Nigerian soldiers were doing, that wherever those boys gather with their flag, singing their Biafran anthem and songs, the soldiers would round them up, start rolling them on gutters and soil, or the pay soil, you know, stamping on their head, and the videos will be captured. The whole thing on social media. If you Google them, you see them. That time, I watched the thing. I went on air in one of the radio stations. I told them that Nigerian government is mishandling this agitation. That then the anchorman asked, what do you want the government to do? I said, rather than torturing these boys, rolling them on mud, why not invite them to a roundtable conference? Tell them, let them say what they want. Because no war has ever ended on the battlefield. These soldiers, they will be doing this, these boys will now withdraw. And if they withdraw into their cocoon, the next place they will see will not be flag again. I made this prediction far back.
Okay.
And it was like I was a prophet. So after torturing these boys in that way, they withdrew. They stopped organizing. Even before it was labeled
Terrorist organization.
They withdrew into their cocoon. What we saw next was armed struggle. And that's what is ravaging the southeast and some parts of south today. So just the same way they handled the book, when Yusuf began his preaching, saying that Western education is haram.
In the north.
Yeah, in the north. They got him arrested. So I also went on a program and said, the same thing I said about IPOP is what I'm saying about this young man. Why arrest Yusuf? Even if you want to try Yusuf, bring him in a court. Before you know it, how Yusuf died in police detention.
His case was really mismanaged.
So having died in police detention, his men withdrew. The next thing we saw was armed struggle. And that is what we are contending with today. Look at now, today, our topic today is the
protest.
The Nnamdi Kanu protest, free Nnamdi Kanu protest. I was watching the thing on social media. I saw Ejimako, Showere, and a handful of people just assembled around 8 o'clock. Oh, beautiful, I had siren. They were telling them, don't run, don't run, don't run. I said, someone was saying, why should we run? Before I know it, I saw canisters, I saw shooting, and there was a stampede. People that were not up to 15, oh, now, towards the later part of the day in Abuja, every place is now on a complete standstill.
So in other words, you're saying that the approach of the government
high-handed
on this matter is not actually the right and the best.
That is the problem Nigerian government has ever had, especially this APC government. It's not every Nigerian government. After all, Jonathan, in 2012, the same Tinubu who is the president today, with Wole Soyinka, Femi Kuti, and some of our own Igbo brothers, they organized what they call Occupy Nigeria.
A free Nigeria.
Free Nigeria, Occupy Nigeria. For almost 2-3 days, Lagos was on a standstill. Reason that Jonathan moved petrol price from 87 naira to 97 naira, difference of 100 naira. They shut down Lagos. Jonathan was forced to capsize. He came back to the same age. He pulled it back. And that's the thing you talk about, a listening government. He never, not that he can't command the police to go and dispatch the people with tear gas, but he never did that. So, but since this APC government came on board, even if you trace back to history, the NSAS of 2020, you know how they handled them at Lekki Peninsula. They shot a lot of young men who were killed during that incident. And they came and denied that nobody died. Only for the same Lagos state government to start paying compensation to families of victims of the massacre. So when you are saying somebody not die, so high-handedness of APC government has ever reversed. We entered one chance with APC. That is the truth of the matter. Nigeria entered one
That's
chance.
street language, one chance
Yes.
anyway. Okay, dear viewer, we are still having a conversation around the October 20th Nnamdi Kanu peaceful protest, which is going on in Nigeria today. We'll say Nigeria because wherever the venue is actually here in Nigeria. Abuja is actually under shutdown by protesters agitating and calling for the freedom of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Well, also Barrister Nnamdi can see he's still here with us. He's not leaving. We just want to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Stay with us.
I'm Uche Osai.
I'm Chiwendo Ifeonwankwe.
My name is Obobina Samson.
Please keep watching Aneke TV, or you can visit us on our socials like Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Aneke TV.
This is Aneke TV. We move with the world. Yes, you're welcome back to the show, The Arena on Naked Television today, October 20th. Well, let's go back to the issues. Mazio Fokanzi, the fact remains now. Do you think that these peaceful protests, no matter how much it holds sway, no matter, how do I put it now, what's the right language? No matter whatever it tends to achieve today, do you think it's going to be able to force the hands of the federal government now? We understand the matter is still in court. But then a lot of people have said it deserves a political, settlement. And that falls back to the federal government of Nigeria to have some level of reconsideration. Do you think that today's protest will achieve that expected end of setting Nnamdi Kanu free from incarceration?
Well, before I go straight to answering that question, let me just first of all give look at one impression that's being created.
Which is?
That the protest is going on in Abuja, even though in Abuja is in Nigeria. But I tell you that the silence in some other states of Nigeria is more deafening than the noise in Abuja. Enugu here, there's no single vehicle on the road. While I was coming here, it takes me from my house to this place. It takes me approximately about 6 minutes. But I got here before 3 minutes because there was no vehicle on the road.
The road was free.
I was just driving at normal speed. You can't see human beings. If you look at the side streets, children are just playing ball on the street, showing you that if Enugu is like this, tell me how Anambra will be like. Tell me how maybe Abia or Imo will look like. Abuja is on a standstill, all right? And the standstill in Abuja, people even try to move because if you look at what's been happening, they took one lane from what we've been watching on live podcast. They took one lane and every vehicle now went to the other lane. And now there was no movement. The whole thing got blocked up. So, but in Enugu, there's no single vehicle on the road. Virtually no single vehicle. When I was coming, I had to record the Graven to show the world that it is also happening here in Enugu. Even though we may not be in the street, but the silence in Enugu and the quietness in Enugu is more deafening than the noise in Abuja.
So do you call that silence the noise of silence?
That is deafening silence. That's what can make you, the noise of the silence will make you deaf. So, if you look at, I think your analysis, your question was on...
will the protest
yes,
actually
what
achieve
impacts?
the expected
well, you see,
aim, you know?
The protest, even if the protest did not go on, it has already achieved a lot. even if assuming the federal government succeeded in suppressing that protest and it didn't go on, even with their court order and the operative suppression, assuming it didn't go on at all in Abuja today, the organizers have achieved their aim because the world has had them. Because by virtue of the policemen coming on the road and every being taken over by police, paramilitary, and military, that shows you that the guilty, according to James Charles said, they are afraid because they know what they were doing. It's not, and it has also, this Nnamdi Kanu issue has attracted a lot of international attention. If you have listened to the video of Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso discuss with Vladimir Putin, because most of these Western countries don't hardly understand Africa. Because you might go to the United States and tell somebody you are from Africa, say, oh, fine, I have a friend in Lesotho, South Africa. You must know him. And you're telling me you're from Enugu State in Nigeria. You're asking about somebody in South Africa.
In South Africa.
As if to say Africa is a little
It's
village.
one state.
Well, a village, little village. Even in your village, you know everybody. So that's the white man's perception of Africa. They say Africa is a little village. So, including their leaders, apart from those who come to mine minerals here, they know the demarcation like France. So, Vladimir Putin, they have virtually or no much interest in Africa besides knowing that it is Africa. And whatever they want to buy, they buy it at whatever cost Africa gives them. So the man has to tell him the story. And then the world extensively on Nnamdi Kanu's own for over 30 minutes. The man now understood. He said he's going to also take it up. Now, 3 days ago, the Reverend Father, he was in the White House, granting press conference in front of the White House. It's not like Nigeria here where they don't come close to sort of. In front of the White House with some non-governmental organizations in America. But the priest is a Nigerian, I know, and he was talking about the ethnic cleansing, the genocide against Christians.
Against Christians.
And the insecurity in Nigeria generally, and the government complicit in those things. So as to whether it's going to have the impact, it already has the impact, even without the protest. For the fact they said the protest is going to go on, and people became jittery, government in power became jittery, setting security apparatus everywhere, blocking the horrors in Abuja. That also shows you the international community is aware because they know what is decent. There is even a protest going on now in the United States. But
still about the Nnamdi Kanu
not about
okay.
That one is on their own.
Okay, it's a different internal matter.
Internal matter there. But nobody is stopping them. The whole streets of New York is completely flooded with human beings marching. Once protest is peaceful, you don't need the input of the only thing the security agents can do is to give them cover to ensure that they don't descend into violence. Like I watched the noonday on in Abuja. I saw a police helicopter following them on top. Well, I thank God that the police commander didn't try to do anything on Tory. Besides following them, we move up and they go down. But it's also risky because something can malfunction. And if the helicopter descends downs on the protesters, you know how many casualties we'll have. So such things are not even necessary. Insofar as they are peaceful, allow them to do their march. Now, as to whether it will make the federal government listen, the federal government is already listening. But I do believe now, the protest has exposed a lot of Igbo leaders.
Okay.
Yeah, this protest has actually exposed our leaders.
How do you mean, sir?
Because we now know that our leaders are the problem of Nnamdi Kanu.
But we've seen situations where a lot of them have come out, within the media space, within the public domain, to call for the freedom.
If you are listening to this interview of Ojo Kanu, you will know where our problem is coming from. If you are listening to the interview of Soludo, you know where our problem is coming from. If you are listening to the interview of some of them in that Asorok and the National Assembly, apart from Abaribe and one other person again, you will not know where our problem is coming from. Go and ask David Omai what he thinks about the protest and listen to what he will tell you. So the problem of Nnamdi Kanu is the Igbo leaders. And until we get up and tell our leaders no to their face, because the people in Asorok have their ear are those purported Igbo leaders. Who
Igbo political leaders now.
Exactly. Let me thank you for that correction.
Igbo political leaders.
Who work with them in that Asorok, who are in that National Assembly with them. These are the people who have the ear of the president. Me and you will not have the ear of the president. It's only one we are doing on television and online. So The president will listen to them, thinking that he's listening to Igbo leaders, not knowing that he's listening to people who don't have the interests of the Igbo leader, Igbo nation at heart, beside their own interests. So that is the problem. So now, this call for protest. Remember, if an Igbo man has spearheaded this call, you don't want it to be termed IPOB agitation. They don't come again. Before you know, they will flood the whole southeast with army and paramilitary personnel. But the person now spearheading it is a Yoruba man. Omugwo, he is a Yoruba man. And he was going to sensitize the Igbos to close their shops in Abuja and come out for the protest. And the people were saying, leave IPOB agitation apart. Let's now talk about freedom for Nnamdi Kanu, free speech. Go and join the march. That you join the march doesn't mean you are an IPOB sympathizer.
Remember.
What we are saying is that the man being held there is being held unlawfully. When people who have been killing people front, left, and center in Nigeria, this one is somebody incited. Chris, I don't know whether you get my point. Your question was that they say he incited.
Incited people into
Now,
taking arms against state institutions.
I'm telling you, I am coming to wipe out this village tomorrow. And tomorrow he will come with his gun, wipe out an entire village, kill as many people as he likes, and goes free. You now negotiate with them. Now somebody will claim incited others.
Okay. I don't know. We understand that Nnamdi Kanu was not actually placed under arrest by this current government in Nigeria, led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We understand that government is in continuum anyway. Government comes into office, inherits both benefits and liabilities.
Yes.
But then he was arrested and taken to court by the previous administration under late Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes.
Why do you think that just maybe the current government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not interested in letting him go, even after analysts have called for political settlement? That if the federal government just declares him free, that he goes free?
Well, I don't think that might stand, because the Mietiala fellow who was being tried for terrorism was also arrested by Buhari's government, and he was undergoing trial when Tinubu took over. Sunday Igbo was also arrested by Buhari government and was undergoing trial when Tinubu took over. He has
Igbo have been set free.
that's what I'm going. He has set free these two. What is so special about Nnamdi Kanu? So that's why I say it is an agenda to classify the Igbo man as a second-class citizen who has no say, or who ordinarily should not have any say in his own country. Remember the 1967-1970 war has ended on a no victor, no vanquish, according to go on. But that no victor, no vanquish, it is a rhetoric on paper. It is not in reality. Because if it's not a rhetoric on paper, I see no reason why Tinubu should set free about 170-something felons that have been convicted. I'm not talking about people undergoing trial. I'm not talking about people being suspected.
Murderers.
Thank you. Because once court say you are
Drug pushers.
That means you are that, because court has already made a pronouncement. So these people that were convicted of drug-related offenses, being murderers, armed robbery, this and that, named them. They now lined all of them up and gave them presidential parole, including people who have died, including people who have served out their sentence, like Lawan, who has served out his sentence, but they don't give him pardon so they can go back to politics. My dear, you now ask yourself, what is so special about Nnamdi Kanu's school? Why Tinubu, why he was releasing the Mietiala guy and Sunday Igboho, ignored him? Now that he's giving parole, which is another opportunity for him, he also still ignored it. If not because the people they see them as an affiliate, a rebellious affiliate to Nigeria, not full Nigerians.
Aside that now, could we look at politics at play here? Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we understand to be a core politician who is the master strategist politically. Do you think just maybe he's considering political, how do I put it, Maybe he wants to use Nnamdi Kanu as a pawn, possibly for over the forthcoming 2027 election. I don't know if you've seen it from this angle as well.
Well,
The 2027 election, the general elections is forthcoming. The last election, 2023, we had a man from the southeastern part of the country, Mr. Peter Obi, giving the president, the current president, and the APC leadership a run for their money. And this time around, he's expected also to stand another election in 2027. Do you think just maybe Mr. President is considering, using Nnamdi Kanu as a pawn for the Igbos to say, okay, which do you want? Like was done between Barnabas and Jesus Christ in the hands of Pilate. Okay. Who do you want? Do you want Barnabas or do you want Jesus? And they chose Barnabas.
If you want to use Nnamdi Kanu as a pawn, a political pawn to seek for the vote of Southeast, who is he going to use as a pawn to seek for the vote of people in Lagos? Because he lost in Lagos. Remember, he lost in Lagos. And he lost in one or two other Western states, even though they manipulated those words. Who is he going to use as a pawn in Edo State? Because he lost in Edo State. Who is he going to use as a pawn in Nasarawa and Plateau and Benue? Because he lost in those areas. If you check where people lost the election, and they're going to use Nnamdi Kanu as a pawn, that will be only Southeast. But even at Southeast, the Southeasterners, even if everybody in Southeast, like we had Oti has also joined them, runs into APC. Remember, these people who are joining political party are the politicians, not the voters. The voters are having their PPC intact, and they are waiting for the right candidates. If they see the right candidate, they go and vote for him. You might be surprised that with all the things they are doing, for the fact they have joined the APC, because the Iboma have a special loathing for APC as a political party. From Buhari, because Igbos are mercantile in nature. We are business-oriented, we're egalitarian businessmen. And a businessman knows good market when he see one. If this up and down I'm wearing now is such a good design, and a good business, they will ask me, where did you sew this thing? I will tell him. He might go to the better and say, sew enough number for me, I'm carrying it to the north. It will move market. But he might see one cloth and say, which one is this? That was why the Igbo man refused to vote for Buhari in his first tenure. Buhari starved us of everything, and even publicly said that it's not what he give people who give you 95% vote.
That he'll give to 5%.
Give you 5%. We ignored him. In his second term, nobody voted for him again. That shows you, it's not that Igbos hate Buhari, but the Igbos know that Buhari is a bad market, and they have seen what he has done. They also know that Tinubu is a bad market. Tinubu lost in the entire Southeast in his first term. He's also going to lose. Take it from me, mark today's date, 20th of October. Any election conducted, unless they write the election, if it is normal vote, Tinubu will still lose, because the Igbo man knows. Even with the governors of the Southeast all joining the APC? They forget the governors are looking for their stomach. They are looking for their own personal interest, not the interest of their people. After all, what does it take? Would they deprive Peter Mba of his monthly allocation as a PDP governor if he doesn't join APC? They have never done that. This is what he's doing in Enugu. Is it because he is not in APC? He has been doing a lot in Enugu, let us assume. At least one or two things are done in Enugu. Nobody has ever stopped. The one what is doing in Abia, is it because he's in Labour Party? So leave them, so that the Igbo man knows good market when he sees one. The Igbo man voted for Yoruba man. You remember Abiola in 1993? That's right. He got overwhelming vote here. But he's a Yoruba man. But Tinubu lost. He's a Yoruba man. The Igbo man voted for Abiola, what do you call it? Yaradua. Okay. We also voted for Obasanjo. Because Obasanjo, we know, he's also a good market. We voted for Yaradua. He's an Hausa man. So don't say because we didn't vote for Buhari, the Igbo doesn't like it, Hausa people. No. We voted for Yaradua. Massively. And even Goodluck, Jonathan. And even Goodluck is South. We also voted for Atiku when Peter Obi was his best presidential candidate. Massively. When everybody became articulated. You can remember that slang. So when we see good market and the Igbo land, we know. When we see bad market in politics, we know. All these people who are clamoring that the Igbo leaders remember that even Ojukwu contested election as a presidential candidate. But the Igbo man didn't see him as someone who will carry them along as a presidential candidate. We know where we can carry him, carry us along. As a military man, fine. The Chuboka Dibodem contested election. Even more, Galo, in the present last one, contested election. But they all lost in Igbo land. But you see P2B, military, they saw P2B, they saw good market. And whenever we see good market, that good market sells everywhere. That's the difference of the Igbo man's political learning. So bring Dave Umahi today to contest president of Nigeria. He will not even win in Ebonyi State.
Well, we'll leave that for another day.
Forget it. Let us just make ourselves. That's why I'm different. I'm very blunt. Bring Soludo. This one, because Soludo and Dave are the ones who are reserving themselves for president when it will come to Igbo. That's why I say support Tinubu now, so that when it comes to Igbo man again, or when it comes to the south again, and it is rotated to we are the people to do it, or Joseph Kanu, who is saying that he's more popular than P2. Did he say it with mouth? It's when you go and test the thing in the ballot box. You know whether you are popular or more popular or not. So the Igbo man, being egalitarian in nature, everything whatever Tinubu want to use, it will backfire. If you use Nnamdi Kanu as a chessboard in terms of political campaign, it will backfire. Because people will now know that's what it is, and it will even anger people more. So it is even better, which I advise even for this, when I was on a program last week, I said, if I were to advise the federal government, I could have advised them to preempt this protest. How do they preempt it? The reason Nnamdi Kanu on Thursday. Tell him to go home and take his bath, relax himself. Next week, just give yourself 1 week refreshment. Come back to sort of let us talk. Let me know what your problem is. If he had done it, it could have been a masterstroke. But I have waited for people to come out today. That's another political suicide he has committed, and it has been added to his retinue of other sins.
Okay, we are getting signals that we need to be rounding off. I don't know. Has it become a crime for people to organize peaceful protest in our climb?
In Nigeria, yes. It's a crime in Nigeria. But it's not in other parts of the world.
Is that what should be obtained?
That is what the APC government had consensus to. A kind of nickels. We have now made ourselves the dormant, unspoken people being humiliated. But it has a dangerous repercussion. It's like you are fighting a little child. You are beating him, kicking and beating. The little child, until he gets to the wall, he rests himself. He will now kick himself against the wall and then push you. And when he pushes you, the kind of push you might not expect from a little child, you might lose your balance. That is where Nigeria government is dragging the masses to. And that's where they are dragging them is a revolution. In fact, I was praying. I said, if they must allow these people to carry out this protest, let them not also mismanage it, which they are still mismanaging early in the morning. Because mismanaging it might snowball into the revolution we are talking about. Because what regards revolution is just a very small thing. NEPA, the youth came to the street to do normal protest. They shot 8 people dead on the first day. The next day, NEPA went in flames. The president had to run away. The same thing with Madagascar. The soldiers were commanded to go and quell them by all means. The soldiers said no, that they have a right to protest. Even when France was swelling, let them go and tear gas them and spread it. The soldiers said no, because they know the politicians who are not doing the right thing. The one that's happening in Cameroon now, nobody knows how it will end. Because despite the fact that the whole result has been in the public domain, because social media has made everything open, the people are now collecting their own result and saying that Paul Biya, who is 92 years, has won 9 out of the 10 regions. So you could imagine that kind of what is going to be the kind of conflict it will entail. And the people are guarding the man who they say won the election. Everybody in Cameroon stays in his house to ensure that nobody touches him. So where that one will lead Cameroonians, nobody knows yet.
Nobody knows. Well, we pray in our own climb the needful will be done to avert breakdown of law and order. And again, you understand that from previous experiences with protests in Nigeria, we've seen where hoodlums were alleged to have come to hijack peaceful protests and start causing mayhem like we saw during the NSAS protest.
Who is a hoodlum?
Isn't that the fear on the side of the government?
Government are the one that bring in the hoodlums. This war now that's happening today. Remember the government organized a counter protest since Thursday or Friday. Who marched to the National Assembly and said that Nnamdi should not be released. And because they now saw the mass movement of today, they fizzled out. Because they were supposed to go and confront the protesters today. The government sponsored protest. So is it not sheer stupidity by you, government, trying to quell a peaceful protest using force of arms? For what? So somebody who is not having even a handkerchief, you fire live bullet at him, or throw tear gas at him, or throw hot water cannon. Man, the government, the government causes hoodlums. During the NSAS, it was the Buhari government that brought hoodlums, who rather than you saw them coming in government SUV, being dropped at protest sites. They now left the protest and went and started setting cars alight where Igbo people were selling cars. And they say, oh, hoodlums are taking it over. So that is rubbish. No hoodlum takes over any protest. It is the government, when they mismanage a protest and it's bursts into crisis, they say hoodlums took it over. Allow people to march. You come out and address them. That is how it is done all over the world. You come, yes, can we have your demands in writing? They will give you their demands. You will tell them, well, the government will look into these demands. Please let your leaders come back here in the next 48 hours. We must have studied it and we'll tell you our position. The protester will turn back and go. That's what protest ordinary should do when it is peaceful. But the thing is that you start using tear gas, even people are assembling. The one I'm giving you an example this morning, they were not up to 20 in that place yet. They were barely about a handful of 10, 15 people.
The videos out there.
Fine. So just assembling, making calls, they have started assembling. And now they'll see siren and see tear gas, see shooting. For what? So they are the ones, the government are the hoodlums, no hoodlums. No. Yeah. The government are the hoodlums, and they keep on saying, remember, these things they are doing, government in power, they are not more than people's power. The people's power is greater than people in power. If you know this, those people in power, they are not up to 20,000 in Nigeria. You take members of National Assembly, ministers, governors, commissioners, they are the local government chairman. At best, let them even be 1 million. Can you compare them to about 200 and million people in Nigeria? People should be careful so that you don't spike something with hunger everywhere now. The little thing you do, somebody will say, I'm already on the ground. I need not fall again. If you're not dead, let me die. So they move on. There are people who even join this protest who don't even know why they are protesting.
Why they are protesting?
So that's the thing. Because they say, what am I doing? Am I the way I'm not a businessman. I have not. But if I beg somebody to give me food, he gives me, I eat. If this one is an exercise, let me do it as a morning exercise. And they join the protest. So that is a nation that has created these people.
So finally, before we go, do you think the international community has a role to play in this matter?
Yes, they are monitoring Nigeria very closely.
What could they do now?
Now, remember, America has designated Nigeria as a country of a special concern. You are aware of that, American Senate. And they have been battling themselves since that time to go out of... Remember, Nigeria was there before, when Buhari said baboons and this will be polluted with blood. Later, they removed Nigeria during second term of Buhari, when they felt maybe the information they are getting was... Now, when they now find out that the genocide going on in the North is even getting... And people, international journalists came on board. They took Nigeria back to country of special concern. So, and you recall that after the, what do you call it, the 2023 general election, a lot of our Supreme Court justices were placed on ban into coming to some parts of Europe and the United States because they know what they did. So they are concerned. They are very much concerned because if you say they are not concerned, they know. And that's why they went and they brought that, which of this other hoodlum, who called himself Renan Mockery, who went and brought somebody, gave him a different appellation, that is a mayor, and this and that is a person who has come for fact finding. about whether Nigeria is actually committing genocide so that he can go to America and tell them to remove Nigeria from a country of special concern. The man told you, you're a liar. I'm not even a mayor. What you are saying is, what is you have told? You told me I'm going to meet Tinubu, meet Sultan of Sokoto. I have not met any of the people who told me I'm going. And you came here and roast me as a mayor. I'm not a mayor. You know, the white man doesn't like to lie.
That's laughable.
So the window was like a ground will open up and swallow him. But that man is almost very shameless. He is still coming back to Arise News yesterday to come and say one trash or the other. That he's an extraordinary human being, and that was why he had an extraordinary session. So you can find out Nigeria is concerned because they want to clean up the national image. But the more they try to clean it up, the more they soil themselves. They are soiling themselves more.
Well, we hope there's going to be an end to the matter, especially with the federal government of Nigeria listening to the loud voice of the people calling for the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu from incarceration. Because we believe there could be a political side to the matter where the president could use his office to grant him freedom.
There's always a
So we hope that these things could be resolved amicably without necessarily throwing the entire society into a menace. Well, God help us anyway. Want to appreciate also Barrister Nnamdi Mofokansi, who is a lawyer, a farmer. I like that part of your nomenclature. Farmer.
Yeah.
I will need to visit your farms one of these days.
So I'll bring in farm produce to you people.
So that we can advertise.
Yeah, no, not advertise, but let me give you free one first.
Oh.
So that you use and know the
That would be a good palliative for me and my crew members.
I'll do it one of these days.
All right, he's a farmer as well as a lawyer here in Enugu. He's a human rights activist as well. He's been our guest on today's show. My name is Chris Anibogu. Bye for now.